We are going to create an Andy Warhol style pop art picture using a picture of yourself in Photoshop. So I want to show you the kind of artwork that Andy Warhol did. This is what he's famous for. One of the things that he's famous for anyway is this picture that he created of Marilyn Monroe using different types of colors in the background and highlighting colors of her. This is one of the Beatles, if you know who that is, John Lennon. This is Andy Warhol himself, and there are different images that you see here. So we're going to do something similar to this kind of artwork, and you see the one here of Audrey Hepburn. So that is the type of thing that we're going to create with your own image. So going back to our main screen, we need to first pull up Photoshop. So from your Launchpad or your desktop, get Photoshop open, and we need to create 2 documents for this. So anytime we want to create a new document, we go up to File, New, or Command-N is the shortcut. So we want a photo document, and we'll just stay with the Photoshop size for now because we're going to end up modifying it over here. So for the width, we want this to be an 8.5 by 11 inch document. So I'm going to change the width to 8.5 for 8.5 and the height as 11. So it does need to be a portrait for our orientation because we want it to be taller than it is wide. And we do need to change the resolution on this. We're just going to have it be 200 pixels per inch. And let's go ahead and name this. I'm going to name it PopArt number 1 because we're going to do 2 of these. So that's PopArt number 1. That's going to be our main one. So I'm going to hit create. And then I need to go ahead and do another one. So do File, New, or Command-N. And this time around, I want it to be half the size of what I just created. So half of 8.5 is 4.25, so 4.25. And half of 11 is 5.5. Again, it's going to stay portrait. We do want a resolution to change to 200 pixels per inch. And let's name this one PopArt. Oops. Number 2. And then create. So we have our 2 documents here. We're going to put the image of yourself that you want to do your Andy Warhol style work onto the second document. So you should have your document on your desktop, your image on your desktop. If you don't, you need to go to the shared drive, find the Sage folder, and then the folder with my name and graphic design. Go to Photos, and then find the day of the week that you are here. Find the camera that you used, and then find the image from that folder that you want to manipulate. Take that image and then drag it directly to your desktop. And close out the shared drive. From your desktop, you're going to take your image and drag it over to your document. So Miss Fogel was my guinea pig for this project, so I'm going to use her image. So I'm going to take it and drag it over. We need to tell the computer that yes, we do want this image. So you can either click the check mark here or just hit enter. Now, before we can do anything with this image, we need to make sure that we have the computer modify it and change it into bits, because right now it's pretty much just like a screenshot. There's not a lot that we can do to change it. So over here in the layer where that image was just put in, you can tell that it's not convertible yet because it has this little symbol here. So in order to convert it, you're going to right click on the name and then scroll until you find rasterize layer. And that way the computer converts it into bits. So now that that's gone, we can work on manipulating this image. So the first step in manipulating it is we're going to take the main image and separate it from the background. So if you remember from before, we have to use the quick selection tool in order to do that. And we just start picking the pixels. So either click on all the areas you want or just hold down the left mouse button and just go over the areas to have it pick up what you want. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit just to make sure that there are no sections that I forgot or missed. So I need to come in a little bit closer here, here. Let me change my size just a little bit so it's a little more exact. You can get really nitpicky with your hair if you want to try to get through all those layers or sections of hair. It can get a little difficult and tricky. Remember, if there's parts that you don't want that went over, you can either come up here to the minus and click on that, or just hold down Alt and see how pixelated it gets the closer, the more you zoom in. So you can really get nitpicky with this if you want. All right, I think I am satisfied. Nope, I want a little bit more of that collar there. Okay, so now that you have your marching ants around where you want your image to be, we need to tell the computer to select everything but this spot here. So we go up here to select, then select inverse. That means opposite. So now our marching ants are going to go everywhere else but here. And we're going to cut everything else away. So the command for that is Command X. And so now our background is gone and we just have the image of our person. Now what we need to do is fill this entire space as much as possible with this image. So we will need to transform this image to make it bigger. So I'm going to kind of position it in the top left corner to make it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to end up, when I transform it, dragging it down to fill the space. So in order to transform, you need to do Command T. And if you hold down the Shift button while you're doing this, that'll help you maintain your aspect ratio so your image doesn't become distorted, looking either too wide or too tall. So holding down Shift, drag on the corner, and I'm going to make it as big as I want to fill this space. I know it looks pixelated right now. Looks like it got distorted. Let me try that again. There we go. So it looks pixelated now, but that's only because I haven't told the computer that this is how I want it to be transformed. So when you have it the way you want, come up here and click on the check mark or just hit enter, and that gets rid of all that pixelization. So one problem when I did all of that is, even though you can't see it, those sections that went past our background are still there. So I do need to get rid of that. So I'm going to come over here to my toolbar and find the crop tool. Okay, so when you get your crop tool, it's automatically, for mine, went ahead and has the whole size of my space. So this is how I want it to be. So I'm just going to hit enter, and it shows you, see, this is all the extra stuff that I don't want. So if I hit enter again, and now it's gone. So I went ahead and cropped it. So now if I move it, you can see that all that extra stuff is now gone. That's exactly what we want. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put like a green screen back here behind your image of your person. So click on the background layer, because we don't want to alter the image of you yet, just the background. Then we're going to come over here to our color picker. Pick a nice green that you think is a green screen color. Hit OK. Get your paint bucket tool. You might have your gradient tool clicked up as an automatic instead. So if you do, just right click and find your paint bucket, then click on the background, and voila, it changes the background color for you. The next step is, now this is our base image that we're going to use to create the pop art work with. So I want to duplicate both of these layers, and then we're going to send it to that first document. So in order to duplicate the layers, I need to have both layers checked. If I click on one layer and try to click on the other one goes away. So if you hold down Shift, then you can click and have both layers selected. So now that you have both layers selected, do a right click and then go to Duplicate Layers. And it's going to want to know where you want to send that duplication. So if we send it to PopArt number 2, that's where we already are. So we got to go to the drop down, go to PopArt number 1, then hit OK. And let's go check and see if it's there. It is, yay. So we have our images here, and we're going to have 4 of them. So we need to duplicate this again. So I still have the 2 of those checked here, selected. So we could do copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. But there is a shortcut that we could do. If you hold down Command J, you'll notice that it duplicated both the background and the image. So let's do it again. Command J. So we see background copy number 3. We need 4. So do it again. Command J. Now you should have 4 copies of it. So I'm going to, these 2 are selected together, copy 3 and 4. So if I grab them both, or grab that, they both will move. So position it where you want. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to select this one, hold down Shift and grab that background too, so that they're going to move together. Grab it, move it down, put it in place, and I should have one more set to move. I'll click this one, hold down Shift, grab the background to go with it, and now I can move it into place too. So now all 4 images are taking up that whole space. Now we're going to do something to kind of make it, if you noticed on the Audrey Hepburn one, so even though it was the same image, it's more of a mirror image. So we're going to do that as well with your picture. So in order to do that, we're going to have to flip these 2 images. So we just want to click on the one image. We don't need the background flipped. So make sure that you have that top right image checked. So over here on the layer, you can see that that is the top right one. Then go up to Edit, Transform, and then Flip Horizontal. And you can see now we have that mirror image. So let's do that again with this bottom right one. So click on it, make sure you have the bottom right one for the layer. Go up to Edit, go to Transform, and then Flip Horizontal again. And there we go. All right, now it is time for us to personalize. So I'm going to stop it here and we'll go on to the next video.